Hello there, welcome to another episode of World of Warships with Ungady Titan, and this one, it's an older game. I've actually had it on file for a bit, because I haven't been playing the Omaha in a while. I've been focusing on the Benson, because it's tier 6, and if I manage to complete the Benson, elite the Benson, then I've unlocked the tier 7, which is the final tier, and so the plan is, sort of World of Warships wise, that I would unlock the final tier ship. I don't know whether there's elite, whether there's probably stuff to be unlocked within that ship, if that's the pattern they're going by. And then I would get that ship up to its sort of maximum capacity, and then I would probably go, build up the credits again to buy the next ship up after the Omaha. So I've been sitting on the Omaha for quite a while. I haven't played it. I've been actually playing the Marblehead when I felt I had the spare time to do it, just to earn extra credits so that I could afford to buy these higher tier ships, because obviously when you get into the higher tiers, the ships cost a lot more money, and the upgrades cost a lot more money, and usually you kind of unlock an upgrade or two at the start. And what I found is really annoying is that you have the money to buy the ship, but not the money necessarily to buy the initial upgrades, and they just work so much better when you have the upgrades, especially since when you're top tier you'll be facing top tier, and you might as well have all the goodies you can get. Obviously at this period I was out of camouflages. Anyway, Kuma turns up as our earlier customer, launching high explosives, because that's what I started out with. I kind of started out with high explosives because it's a good general purpose response to everything. And I should probably switch to a armor piercing straight away, because that ship is presenting a nice broadside. And as you can see here, it can be really worth it when you have the armor piercing loaded, and the ship's giving you a nice broadside like that. You can really knock the damage into it. That is fair spanking but to the Kuma. I think we removed half his health. And Isakaze sitting in the water. Isakaze has incoming high explosive package, and he loses what, a third of his health, 6 of his health. I can't remember how many. And he's on fire. And he's pop smoke, I think. And he's probably and I'm on fire because the Omaha was coming in, and I wasn't paying enough attention to my surroundings, and I'm on fire twice. So we're forcing the Omaha to change direction, and I took the chance to, because of the island, to put out the fires, and the Isakaze is back in action. We dropped that one a bit too far in front, and there's torpedoes in the water in front of me. Now that comes as a bit of a shock, because I had no evidence that there was any ship anywhere in the water. So somewhere between me and the enemy Iron Duke, at some point in the recent past, there was an enemy destroyer. I think it was another Isakaze. So if he is out there, he's probably no longer out there. That ship has moved on and is probably somewhere else around, but it means that lurking in the water there somewhere to the north of me, there is an enemy destroyer. Which is bad news for everybody concerned in the area. Which is why I popped my Hydra straight away. Because, and I'm actually surprised there hasn't been a second round of torpedoes incoming. Where is he? The Iron Duke has decided to start paying attention to me because I'm the squishy cruiser. And I really want to avoid the attention of anybody, because I'm flooding. I have been flooding away quietly there for some time until I managed to get my repair back online, and I've taken a huge amount of damage, a lot more than I would have. So here's the question: would it have been worse if I had let myself continue to burn and then had the damage repair party available when I got torpedoed, or was I actually correct to quench the fires when they were there? Because the fires would have caused a fair bit of destruction too. 2 fires, 1 flood. I'm not too sure which is worse. Anyway, with the Isakaze under our guns again, so we're going to take advantage of this fact and put a few rounds into them, but somebody else finishes them off. Destroyers definitely attract attention. Iron Duke has found somebody else to engage. And again, battleships with the habit of just showing broadsides to each other and duking it out. Although I do notice that the some of the more stupid acts on the part of the player base doesn't seem to be as prevalent in recent games. Now, I'm not playing it as often, I'm not playing it as regularly. Some people might. So if it's still the same, feel free to comment. But I have noticed in a few games that I've played that there's a lot less premature smoke screening, where people start off their destroyer and more or less launch a smoke screen as soon as they start moving, which means that you can see the smoke screen from across the map. You know where the destroyer is. Well, okay, you know that he's not there anymore, but that's where he was at the start of the game, and you've identified which enemy unit, which enemy division, because they start off usually with the fleets divided into 3 parts, and you found out where the destroyer is. Similarly, the other thing that people used to do a lot at the start of the game was randomly shooting their guns. And the thing is, now you'd see that on World of Warships PC as well, but the thing is, on World of Warships PC, when people are randomly shooting their guns at the very start, the 2 fleets are sufficiently well separated that it's not really giving your position away. It's only when you do it maybe 30 seconds in. But only the battleship spawn points have moved. Everybody else is more or less spawning in the same location, and they are spawning within probably a few hundred meters of view range. So if you fire your guns, you decrease your stealth, your view, the range at which you can be spotted increases massively by firing the guns, depending on what ship you have and what guns. Obviously, I think it'd probably be worse for battleships than destroyers, but still, you'd see people firing at the start of the map, and they're giving their position away because, if nothing else, the enemy team can see the outgoing tracer and have some rough idea where the tracer is coming from. Now, I make another mistake here. I go after the 2 battleships, the Iron Duke and the Arkansas, to try and protect them from the destroyer. The problem is they're doomed. They're too far ahead of me. I won't catch up with them in time. The Iron Duke's gone already. I won't catch up with them in time to actually save them from the destroyer. I should have realised as soon as I was torpedoed that the destroyer would be out there in those islands, or at least heading in that direction. And if I wanted to do anything about the Izakaze at that point in time, that's when I should have done it. Because I'm at the extreme limit of my range, but the problem is that you have a battleship, the Arkansas, operating in confined waters, in and around islands in which lurks a submarine. And the odds are so stacked heavily against the battleship that, it's just not funny. And there's nothing I can do to save him because he's sailing around an island. He's sailing around a submarine, a destroyer. He's sailing around an island in which he knows there's a destroyer. And that destroyer has torpedoes, has fired torpedoes at him repeatedly, has lots of torpedoes, and still he persists in doing it. And the thing is, there's almost no avoiding torpedoes at that kind of range on a battleship. He should be trying to get out of there. Battleships need, at the very minimum, open water between themselves and the destroyer, so they have some idea where to dodge the torpedoes from. Whereas when they're sailing around an island, the chances are they're sailing into a torpedo salvo because their course is utterly predictable and they're generally spotted long before they're around the promontory. So I've arrived on the scene now, and I've arrived on the scene with everything on cooldown. My sonar has just dropped into cooldown. My aircraft is still on cooldown. Oh no, it's still in the air actually, so that's not so bad. At least I have an aircraft in the air. And this guy obviously has another smoke round remaining. Now I'm keeping the islands between myself and him because you can't torpedo me through the island. And he's just been taken out by a friendly battleship. Now, the problem with this is the two of us have come up this way for our varying reasons, but we're now miles away from the cap circles. And we're down 2 caps, and we're down a ship. Well, we've managed to pull even on ships, but we're 100 points behind on points, and the enemy are gaining points faster. So the enemy are about to cap the 3rd location, so they will be gaining points significantly faster now than we will. And if we're to recover, we've got to sink a ship. Any ship will do, but there's 2 remaining enemy battleships, and I've only a smidgen of health points. And I don't really know what the state of the friendly battleship is. But even aside, if we never meet another enemy battleship between now and the end of the game, we've lost. Even if we manage to recover a cap location, we're only recovering 1. We need more than 1. And I don't think, even if we got all 3 of them, we would reverse the situation in time for the end of the game. We need to sink ships to turn this game around. Well, I suppose the good news is we found the enemy ships. Bad news is both of them are there together, and one of them's out of my gunnery range, and the one that's in my gunnery range is at full health. Okay, I've managed to get some sliver off of it, and we're putting another round of incoming fire. We're detected. Yes, we know we're detected. Wyoming fires a broadside of the enemy battleship, and we're dropping more HE on it. And we've managed to get a few more hits, and the enemy is firing on a different battleship, which is unfortunate. It would be better if we were both focused firing on the same ship. I still don't know, the New York still would be out of range of me, to be just me and the Wyoming and nothing else. Now the Wyoming's angling his guns, he's trying to start giving me broadside. Now I don't know if he gives me broadside, should I be using the armor piercing? We're sticking with the high explosives for the moment. And yeah, can we set a fire? Fire would be nice. We have a fire set, good. Because that's steady damage. I think we'd set a fire earlier on, but he'd put it on, he'd used his damage control to stop the fire, and that means his damage control is now on cooldown. So that fire should keep going for the full duration. So here's the thing, we have to sink an enemy ship. We have to do it in the next 2 minutes and 15 seconds. And I don't think it'd be enough. I think this is before the change in points, but even the change in points would have been only something like a 90-point flip. So, effectively they'd have lost 90 points. Which would still leave them ahead of us with 3 caps input points. Yeah, I'm not even sure. Unless we sink both ships, it'd be the only way it'd be theoretically possible to win at this point in time. So I'm continuing to do damage at least to reset the cap here, so that I'm not losing a 4th cap. With some hope, so the New York is coming around the promontory. The Wyoming is giving me complete broadside. Now I think what's happening here is the Wyoming has decided to tank bows on against the Allied friendly battleship. So it gives me broadside, but the thing is, I think he's also estimated that he can survive my broadside, and that when he takes, if our ship goes, because our battleship looks like it's probably under focus fire from both enemy battleships. So when the friendly battleship goes, they'll be so many points ahead that they'll have won, or they might have automatically won anyway. The victory alone will be enough to swap things around and pretty much guarantee the British victory. So despite the fact that I've probably doubled my damage output on the Wyoming, it's not going to be enough. He's still on fire, I think, because I'm getting incremental damage continuously. And I'm the only ship left at this point, and that's knocked another. That's subtracted from our score and added to their score, and they're now in the mid 900s, so they are going to win because 12 seconds. In fact, the question is whether the match will run out of time, or they'll hit the 1,000 before the match runs out of time. Either way, it doesn't look like you're going to win this. I had shots in the air against New York, but I never saw that I landed or got to land or had any effect on the game whatsoever. Probably not enough to take out New York at the time. Game over, and we've lost. So I did 76,000 damage, 6 citadels, set 7 fires in a sunken ship, and came number 1 by experience. But it wasn't enough to pull the game out of the fire. And that's it, we lost the game. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like and share. Feel free to comment. If you have not already done so, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so that you can be notified when new videos are up. Bye for now, and I will catch you all again soon.